I said earlier that I've been able to get people's attention, but now with Facebook Live, the great thing about it is that you can take your energy and funnel it into the audience. But I'll be very honest with you, man. Like, people want to connect with energy. I mean, I'm not saying you got to be at my level, but wherever you're at in any business, whenever you connect with your people, or you have a contact or communication with anybody who's going to be a potential customer or be a potential possible someone who's going to be a referral, make sure you uptick that energy just there, because they're just going to just intuitively want to connect with more of that because it feeds them inside.
Is your business struggling right now? You might think that it's because you don't have enough sales, but the reality is it's because you don't have the attention of the marketplace. This is attention equals dollars. You deserve more. Your business deserves more. And I'm here to teach you everything that I know on how to get the attention that you need and to turn that attention into dollars. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Attention Equals Dollars podcast. I'm your host, Luke Nesler, where we come to you live each week from the Impact Media Studios. You might be watching this on Facebook, you might be watching this on YouTube, or you might just be listening to this on iTunes. Listen, this show is about how do you get attention on your brand? How do you get people to know who you are? And then more importantly, how do you turn that into sales? The biggest mistake people make is not that they have a sales problem, is that they have an attention problem. Not enough people know who you are, not enough people are thinking about you, and therefore not enough people are buying from you. So what I do is I find the best of the best in the business. We've had some heavy hitters, big names on this show, and we've had some folks that you might not have heard of because they might not be in your niche, but all the people that we bring to you are those that can help you grow your business, those that have figured out how to get attention and turn it into dollars. Today, I'm very excited to introduce my guest, Jason Rash. Jason is somebody that I quickly have considered a friend that we met in Miami at an event just a 30 or 60 short days ago. I began to follow Jason. I began to follow his wife and what they're doing with their company, The Social Celebrity. Jason is a Cincinnati guy who's soon going to be moving out west. And man, Jason is a social media rock star. Jason, welcome to the show. I'm excited to dive into what you're doing, and I think it's going to help my audience for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for Luke for having me. You guys, what's up? My name is Jason Rash. I met Luke, like he was saying, in Miami. We instantly connected. By the way, hello to everyone on Instagram, on Luke's live Instagram, my live Instagram. What's shaking, guys? So what I wanted to say is, first of all, what we're doing is we have figured out, my wife is actually the genius behind all of this. She's the one who's figured out how to leverage social media and turn it into dollars. I mean, I think everybody wants more dollars, right? And social media is free, baby. It's the time to hop on, jump in, and start making that money. And my wife was just like, hey, we need to monetize our audience. And so boom, that's what we're doing now.
Absolutely, man. And if you can't tell, if you're watching, you can see the energy Jason brings. If you're listening, I know you can hear it unless you're deaf. And if you're deaf, you're probably not listening because this isn't a closed caption podcast. Jason, one of my favorite things about you, man, is your energy. And that's initially why we connected. And I want to point something out that Jason did that otherwise we probably never would have connected. I was having a conversation with the girl in front of me at this event, and we're into our conversation, and it's the first morning of the event, and Jason rolls in and he's in front of her. It's like a classroom style seating setup. And Jason comes in and immediately gets our attention, introduces himself, and it was a networking event, so obviously it was completely appropriate for him to do so, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. And Jason, when you came in, you were like, hey guys, what's going on? Are you talking about going to the 10X Growth Con? And immediately jumped into the conversation we were having, and the three of us really just clicked. And you and I have stayed in contact ever since, and I've started to watch your social media content, and you have a large audience that always tunes in, and you keep them all the way throughout, and you keep them engaged. I'm talking specifically about Facebook Live. So I want to talk about what is it that makes that happen for you, because it's the thing that so many people look for. How do you get them there? How do you keep them engaged? And man, you get them commenting, you got them dropping a number 1 if they're there live, or a number 2 if they're watching replay. And it's just bing, 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 comment, comment, comment. And they're watching all the way through. So I really want to dive into that, man. But before we dive into those tips and techniques, talk to me about your lifestyle that you've created. You're getting ready to move from Cincinnati to Colorado. It's you, your wife. Do you have any kids?
2 of them.
You got 2 kids. You've created this, as my friend Matt Monero would say, lifestyle by design. And you wouldn't have created that, Jason, if you didn't have the attention of the audience that you're going after. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Luke, I figured out very early on in life that I've been able to get people's attention. When I was in first grade, man, like I was that dude that wanted attention from every single person in the classroom. And God bless my first grade teacher, Miss Jenkins, wherever you were at. I am so, so sorry for the punishment that I put on you, bro. It was her first year. I wanted attention. And from every single person in the classroom, I wanted them laughing. And she quit right after that. She's like, yeah. I'm done. I can't do this, man. It was crazy, right? But my whole entire life, I've been able to get people's attention. I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of the eyeballs. And when Facebook Live came along, it allowed me to do that in real time. I was like, man, this is by far the coolest feature in the world that I've ever seen. Like 10 years ago, people would have had, or 5 years ago even, people would have had to have like cable trucks, satellite trucks, have cables.
Oh, absolutely. I worked in TV, man. I worked for a CBS affiliate, and what you had to do back then we used to once a year, we'd broadcast a local high school football game, and what they had to do, and they still have to do it. It's absurd. Miles of cable, tons of people on payroll making this happen. And I could be sitting from the crowd, live streaming that shit straight from my phone. And it's something that you've taken advantage of that technology advancement that a lot of people haven't taken advantage of. Is that correct?
Absolutely, my friend. And the great thing about it is that I was like, man, I need something to push my energy into. My whole entire life, Lou, people have told me, dude, if you can bottle up your energy and sell it, I'll buy it. If you can bottle it up, I'll buy it. If you can bottle it up, I'll buy it. And I was like, man, all I got to do is get in front of enough people. Like you were saying earlier, it's like people don't know you in the marketplace because you're not out there talking to people. You're just not out there talking to enough people. And the thing about businesses, because I'm a businessman, like you said earlier, and it's like people, you just have to get in front of enough people that are going to say yes to your opportunity, yes to your services, and yes to your product. And Facebook Live allows you to do it, right? Like nowhere in the history of all of mankind have you ever been able to access a platform that's so freely accessible, meaning Facebook's free to join, right? And just broadcast your message 24/7, and the cost at the end of the month is zero. It's zero. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest invention of all time. So it's
now here's the thing. Let me dive in here because this is where a lot of people, I think, drop the ball. So obviously what my company does, we do the targeted paid advertising side of social media. Well, a lot of people think that's your only option. And actually for that to do the best it possibly can do, you have to be able to leverage the free side, which Jason's talking about right now, to its full maximum capacity. So Jason isn't paying money to have his Facebook Lives done. Now he might invest in Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Snapchat ads, all of that, but we're not talking about him investing money in this. A lot of people struggle, Jason, with getting their Facebook Lives to get traction. Right. And it's okay. The first one you do, second, third, fifth one you do, you might only have a couple of people on them. But it's still, it only takes one person to buy. But something that you've done, and I encourage everybody to follow you, man, you get mass amounts of exposure. So you can't just go live and shit's going to happen. There's a recipe for success on it. What are some of the things that you're doing? And I know it's a lot of the energy, but what are some of the things that you're doing that you see is really working for you?
Absolutely. Let me back this up real quick. And the fact that whenever I jumped off Facebook Live, I was nervous just like everybody else. I'll be very honest with you, Luke. I still get nervous. Like I have a team of thousands and thousands and thousands of people. By the way, we do network marketing, right? And we're teaching our people to do the exact same thing that we're doing, right? And the crazy thing about it is I still get nervous before I do a Facebook Live. And I tell my people this, right? I don't never know what to expect, what's going to happen. But the crazy thing about it is the way I got good at it, just like slam dunking a basketball or running a mile, you actually have to do it. And the crazy thing is I committed to, I said, okay, on my 39th birthday, I'm going to do a year straight of Facebook Lives. Every single day, I'm going to do a year straight of lives. And, the very first day I was like, okay, what am I going to do on day 2? I didn't have the content and I was just committed, right? To the point where I was going to do it. I did like 120 of them, 130 of them in a row, like straight bang, 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 bang. The thing about it is, guys, like most people don't do a Facebook Live broadcast because they don't know what to say. And I want to encourage you guys out there, number one, commit to doing the live, number one, and then the content or the idea or the creativity will follow. Now, what Luke was asking about earlier, like, how do I keep people's attention? Number one, I talk a little bit louder than normal. I don't always talk like this, like around my house. You know, I'm not like, hey, what do you guys want for breakfast? What do you guys want to do today? Right. I just literally like I uptick my volume just a hair. Right. I kind of actually, to be very honest with everybody here on this broadcast, I kind of am starting to talk like that around my house. So that my wife's like, you know, the hearing. Right. So number one, that's what I would do. Go ahead.
That energy, man, it's when you get it in you, it's so hard to turn it off. I'm the same way. A lot of people are surprised when they meet me, and I'm you know, I'm kind of calm and soft spoken, but on camera, man, I'm sometimes I'm cussing, I'm clapping my hands, I'm high energy.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot for you to where you would see, I thought you were like that all the time. Right. And that says a lot about you that you have to turn it on. You can't be that, hey guys, welcome to the Facebook Live. I'm going to wait for a couple people to hop on. Nobody wants that shit, man. You've got to catch their attention. It's as important, if not more important than the content. I literally would watch you talk about a bunch of nothing because your energy. I listen to the Pat McAfee podcast. He talks about a bunch of nothing for 90 minutes, but his energy is so infectious that I can't turn it off. And you, my friend, have that. So I think that's important for people to know that you turn that on for the camera, and everybody has to turn their energy on for the camera. It's a presence. It's a stage character that you have to be able to turn on. You can turn it off. You have to be able to turn it on.
Absolutely. I said earlier that I've been able to get people's attention, but now with Facebook Live, the great thing about it is that you can take your energy and funnel it into the audience. But I'll be very honest with you, man. Like people want to connect with energy. People want to connect with that energy. Like if I'm going out to buy a Tesla, I love Teslas, guys. I've been dreaming of a Tesla forever. I don't own one, but I'm working for one, right? But if I walk onto that lot and that guy's like this, he's like, hey, how are you? Welcome to Tesla. We're going to do this. This car is incredible. I mean, can you guys already feel the energy dragging down now? If somebody's, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Like it's draining me, right? I mean, I'm not saying you got to be at my level, but wherever you're at in any business, whenever you connect with your people, or you have a contact or communication with anybody who's going to be a potential customer or be a potential possible someone who's going to be a referral, make sure you uptick that energy just there, because they're just going to intuitively want to connect with more of that because it feeds them inside.
Yeah. Energy is taken as interest in me, right? If I'm on this conversation with Jason and he's super, monotone, he's not really putting anything into it. He's not showing interest in me. Your energy on screen is the interest that you're showing in the individual, right? If you're going to talk to that really attractive girl or that really attractive guy, your energy changes probably than when you're sitting on your couch on a Saturday night watching a movie. Right. Exactly. You gotta bring the energy. And a lot of people just don't get it. And I tell them, watch what I do more than what I say. And Jason, you're a prime example of watch what Jason does more so than what he says sometimes. Watch what he does. There's a reason he's got this crazy ass backdrop behind him on a lot of his live streams. There's a reason he's clapping his hands and keeping you engaged. Watch what he does. Right. Yeah. So man, I love that. So let's, I want to backtrack real quick because you talked about you didn't know what am I going to say on my live stream? What am I going to say? And you said, I just committed to this. I'm going to live stream for a year straight. And that's a thing that a lot of people get hung up on is, man, what do I say in all of my content, let alone when I go live? Because I don't want to get left looking like an idiot on there. And I tell people, number one, if you stay in your lane, right? If you're in the hair care, skin care, healthcare type products, stay in your lane on that. Don't start talking about financial advice. Don't start talking about motivational coaching. If you don't know, your ass from a hole in the ground on that topic, stay where and map out some talking points. And where I tell people to get those talking points are frequently asked questions. Luke, do I need to boost a post or do a Facebook ad, right? How much should I spend? What is a pixel? Right? Should I do LinkedIn or Snapchat? So I have all these questions that I get asked. So I have ammo for days, and everybody does. Is that something that you use to where you just get frequently asked questions as well?
Absolutely. And I'm going to just kind of expand on that. What they're asking you guys, if people are out there in the marketplace and they're asking you questions, there's an old saying that says what's personal is universal. If somebody's asking you that question, there's thousands of other people in the background that are either too scared to ask it or they don't know how to ask it. And whenever you start to ask that question, you start to address it, people will be like, oh my God, this guy connects with me. Luke, let me ask you a question real quick, Luke. Have you ever been in church before and the pastor felt like he was talking directly to you and there was nobody else in the auditorium?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man, because he's already gone ahead and done that work. And whenever your people are out there and you're doing a broadcast and you're doing, or you're whatever the communication tool you're using to speak to your people, once they identify with you and you take that time to understand the questions that people are asking, they will connect with you and they will follow you to the ends of the earth.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love that you say that. And something that I started to do the last 12 months, from a mentor and a friend of mine, and actually my manager, Hank Norman from Two Market Media in New York, he does a lot of work with Grant Cardone. He said something to me that flipped how I talk to my audience. And I think it's something that everybody could learn from. He said, quit saying, hey, you guys, hey, everybody, because now it feels like you're just talking to Facebook. Or a lot of people say, what's up, Facebook? You're not talking to Facebook. You're fucking talking to me. So talk to me. So if I'm talking to a realtor, I'm going to talk to that realtor as if you're this is a Skype to that realtor, not to the 950 or 3,000, whatever it is, people that are going to see it. It's to that individual. So address them as one person. So I'll talk to them and not say, hey guys, hey everybody, hey Facebook, listen up. I'll say things like, listen, I'm talking to you. When it comes to doing this, it's just like you're having a real conversation, as if Jason and I are talking back and forth. I'm not addressing every single person on the internet. I'm talking to you, and it pulls that person in. And I've seen my engagement go up from that, and my following go up from that as well. Is that something that you've seen or considered, or have you seen the opposite?
No, I agree with you 100%. And, whenever you're talking to somebody personally, and by the way, you're speaking from personal experience, because I do believe that everybody's an expert in some area. And so what happens is this, I think that whenever you begin to address that person personally, they're going to be more loyal because they believe that you're speaking to them, which you are. Right. They believe, and so you're not addressing everybody. There's an old saying that says, when you talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. Right. And so the awesome thing is that whenever you address that and you address those people, that's whenever your true fans start to come out of the woodwork. Luke, you asked earlier about how to keep people's engagement on the Facebook Live. But the first thing that I want to say is, do you care if I drop those tips real quick?
Dude, go for it, man.
So whenever you're doing content, number one, like Luke said earlier, stay in your lane. So guys, I'm a Post-it freak. And if you're watching the video, you can actually see what I've got here, right? So I'm actually writing down notes as Luke's talking to me, right? If you could see like around my room here, like I've got Post-its everywhere, right? I'll write down ideas, and this is what I do a live topic about. I'm going to give you guys $1 million tip. Luke, you think your people want $1 million tip?
Man, I want $1 million tip. Let's hear it.
I'm going to tell you guys $1 million tip, and I figured this out intuitively, guys. Number one, I use Post-its. Write down 3 bullet points that you want to talk about. Don't go further than 3. Your Facebook Live needs to be between 7 and 11 minutes for optimal viewing, right? The average person is not going to stay on all 11 minutes, right? So the perfect part of your message needs to be towards the beginning of it, right? So how I do this is, number one, I write down 3 bullet points on a Post-it. Number 2, to keep myself in the lane, because I'm super high energy. Like Luke said, I'll go tangent, I'll go wild, I'll go crazy. I mean, I'll be talking about tacos over here or something like that. I got a love for tacos, by the way, right? So I'll take the Post-it, I'll put it right underneath my phone, literally right underneath the camera of my phone. And I'll put that there so it doesn't look like I'm looking away, because the worst thing is, like, when you're looking away, number one, it looks like you're distracted. Number 2, it looks like you're unfocused. Number 3, it doesn't look like you have your shit together. Let's be real, right? So if I'm just taking a quick glance down at my notepad, I write 3 keywords in those bullet points, right? I found that if I write out too much in those bullet points, I'll start to actually try to read the content. I just need to be able to glance down at the words, boom, and it prompts me for the next topic and next discussion. And the second thing
listen, what Jason is saying, I literally do exactly what he just said. I have done the Post-it note trick. I have 7 to 11 minutes. That's right at the sweet spot of where I see stuff. I'll admit sometimes I go longer because I'll get on these tangents. I'll start engaging with the people in the comments. And then the good content up front. And here's why I tell people this. You've got 3 to 5 seconds to get my attention. Right. So mistake number 1 that people make is they do this. They go live. And for those that are listening, not watching, I'm just sitting here and doing nothing. And people will do that for like 60 seconds and say, well, I'm just going to wait for people to hop in here. No, you've got to record that live as if you're thinking about what it's going to look like when it's playing on replay on Facebook. So one of the things that Jason does, and I have my variation and ways of doing it as well, is, he gets right at right at the topic. And maybe he'll start saying, hey, drop a number 1 if you're watching live, or tell me, drop replay in the comments if you're watching on replay. So he's at least saying something while that audience is building. And then he gives the good stuff up front. So Jason, I have a technique that you probably already use, but I call it the bookend technique. I tell you what I'm going to tell you in this podcast. Then I tell you, then if I have a call to action, I drive that call to action. So, hey, listen, in this podcast, we're going to give you 3 quick techniques, or on this live stream, we're going to give you 3 quick techniques that teach you how to do this, 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 and this on Instagram in the next 60 days. So now it's not like a movie to where you watch this whole damn thing and there's a climax. Oh, and that's why I watched it. That's not how things happen on social media. So now I've told them what they're going to get. Then they get it. And then if I have a call to action at the end, I can drive that call to action. And I think that's a formula that you follow, because I've watched your stuff and I know what I'm going to watch before I'm 5 minutes into this thing.
Absolutely. And another thing is, like, there's a headline. The headline, guys, I want to give you another $1 million tip. You think I can drop another bomb on them real quick, Luke? Another $1 million bomb? Guys, so number 1, my wife reads Cosmo, and I figured out very, very quickly that whenever my wife buys Cosmo, she buys it for the headline. Like the headline is grabbing her attention, right? While my son is like asking her, Mom, can I get this? Mom, can I get that? In the grocery line. Guys, the same thing has to be done in the news feed. You got to be able to grab people's attention. Here's what you do, baby. You go out and you get Cosmo magazines, or you Google it, right? The front cover, right? They have the best copywriters in the world. The best copywriters in the world right now. Look at this. I'm getting their attention right now, Luke, right? You see how I do it? I'm banging, right? I'm snapping, I'm banging, I'm moving around, right? I'm doing my thing, baby. It's what I do, right? But what you want to do is you want to grab that Cosmo cover, right? People love numbers. Top 3 reasons for this. And another $1 million tip to actually add on to that, use the word secret. People love the word secrets. They feel like they're getting something like inspirational. They feel like they're getting something like that's privy just to them. And the last thing is, use the word master, right? Not as like something's mastering you, but how to master something. My top 3 secrets to master money. My top 3 secrets to blah, blah, da, 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 whatever it may be. Right? And then you can put hint at the bottom, all sorts of cool little things, but a great headline will captivate your audience as they are scrolling. But yeah, as Luke said earlier, man, like right when I do a live broadcast, I pop on, I say, hey, if you're coming in live, type live in the comments below. If you're coming on the replay, type replay in the comments below. Because we know that whenever you do a Facebook Live or a live for anywhere else, right, the majority of your people will come in on the replay. Hey, Luke, I'm going to give you one last $1 million tip. You ready?
Keep spitting.
So I'm going to keep spitting, baby, because I just riffed this entire shit anyway, right? I'm going to riff it all, baby. So as your people are coming in the broadcast, right, and they're live and you're sitting there, drop a 1, drop a 2, drop a 3 in the comments below, then here's how this looks in real time, right? Hey, guys, if you guys have ever felt like this, drop a 1 in the comments below, right? You want to use a number, because what happens with is if you ask them, hey, how do you feel today? They may be driving in the car. They may have kids pulling on them. They may only have one hand available. You don't know what they're doing, right? But they can hit 1, right? Boom, or they can hit 2, right? The trick is that whenever you do that, what they don't know what's happening is I'm actually surveying them, right, of how far they are going to go through the actual broadcast. Most people only get to the word replay. They never get to the first number. Most. I've had some stuck around where they get to like the first number, but I know they're not seeing the next 3 pieces of the content, number 2, 3, and 4, or number 2 and 3. So here's what you do. In your live broadcast headline, you're going to be a hint, the real secrets at number 2, or hint, can't wait till you see number 3. Right?
So you're giving them something in the copy content that tells them, hey, I'm going to give you these 3 secrets, 3 tips. The real secret to your success is at tip number 2. That's huge. I'll be honest, I haven't tried that one yet.
Right.
And I also learned the engagement hack with the, hey, type replay in, drop replay in the comments if you're catching this on replay. And it's something that I want to start implementing as well, man. Your game is so strong on Facebook Live. So I want to recap real quick what he just said. Man, we're already at 22 minutes. I could go for 60 with you easily. So in enticing them to stick around in the copy content, refer to the greatest people in the world, Cosmo, Vogue, these people that just know how to lure you in when maybe you shouldn't even be lured in. Learn from that. And then drop those nuggets in the copy content with, hey, I'm going to give you 3 tips for this. The real secret is at tip number 2, because what Jason's telling us is that's what's keeping people around. Right. That gives them a reason to stick around to that tip. And then if they're getting a ton of value, they'll stick around even further. And then those engagement hacks to get that comment, because Jason, here's the thing. And I do want to bring this to you because this came straight from Facebook, and it's something that I'm sure you can find a way to enhance it. Facebook's looking for long form comments. That's what they want with this new algorithm change that they announced several months ago. One of the biggest additions was long form comments take precedence over short form comments. Now, a long form comment can be a few words, but it's a short form comment is LOL, yes, number one, number two, replay. So dropping those short form comments is working because I've seen it work for Jason. But if I'd be curious if you can find a way to get that same type of engagement with a few words strung together, right? So what I tell people to do is, hey, tell me what company you're with and the biggest problem you're having right now with your marketing. So sometimes people say, hey, I'm with Sierra Pacific Mortgage, or the biggest problem I'm having right now is I don't know what to say on my Facebook Live. So I know that I'm getting a couple of those long form comments in there. And if you're tuning in on our behind the scenes, Jason, I switched over to Facebook Live now. So for everybody on Facebook Live, if you're tuning in, I've got Jason Rash, one of the best Facebook Live promoters, just marketers that I have found to date. And I'm not blowing smoke up his ass. I mean it. He's great.
Thank you.
And Jason has given us Aaron, I could go on probably for an hour just talking tips with this guy. This is some of the best advice. Jason, all right. So you got people over their fear. Commit. You got to commit to, I'm going to do, I like what you said. I'm going to do a live every day for the next year. I want people to commit. If you've never done one, I'm going to do a live stream every day for the next week. And then once you realize you did it and people aren't throwing stones at you and telling you that you're ugly and that you sound weird because that's what people think they're going to get, then just keep going. So commit your content ideas. Jason, you gave us the Post-it note trick right below the camera. I love that trick. What's another favorite hack of yours for Facebook Live that gets you the engagement that I see?
Yeah. So, we talked about the headline. The headline's the number one thing. If you can't grab people on their headline, number two is the energy. I don't care how great your content is. If you suck at energy, or if you can't get your energy level up, nobody's going to stick around.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's being real. At least nobody ambitious is going to stick around. I mean, let's be real. I'm trying to attract the ambitious people, right? So the energy that you put out are the people that you're going to attract back to you, right? And so, I mean, it's literally the comments. You get them to comment, you get them to engage, or you bring the energy, you keep it 7 to 11 minutes, right? You have a great headline, right? The next thing is the actual content itself. Where do you come up with content? Where do you come up with inspiration? It's 3 bullet points. Look around at what's going on in your life. If you're a mom, right? If you're a mom, talk to me about, and you want to position your product, right? Talk to me about what's going on in your life, right? How to work this business as a mom, how to work this business as a single mom. How am I going to be a car dealer, right? As a dad, right? Like bring this stuff into your business, right? The things that you're struggling with in your life, millions of people out here are struggling, right? I talk about money a lot. Like, I'll be very honest with you, Luke. Like, we almost lost our house in 2015, man. It was a very incredibly scary experience. I don't want anyone around me to ever go through that experience, right? So what happened was I learned really, really quickly when we almost lost our house that there was something about money that I didn't know. I was exposed, right? I know that most of Americans are in debt and that the average person makes $52,800 a year. That's scary. That's some scary shit, man. You ain't going to like live a really great life making $52,000 a year. So my goal is to actually I really love talking about money, how to create it, what to do with it. I'm not a financial investor or financial advisor. So please don't listen. Don't think that that's what I'm doing. But I want you to understand one thing, guys, is like, I love to talk about money. The thing about money though, it's very, very polarizing, right? It's very, very people either love it or they hate it, right? So I could go on for days about that because I position everything around my own story. Right? And people are going to connect with you on your Facebook Live whenever you bring your own story and you're open. You got to be open. You don't air your dirty laundry, but you do talk about your struggles. You can't live life high on the mountain all the time because nobody will ever relate to you, and nobody is going to ever follow you, right?
That's one of the biggest breakthroughs that I've had in the last 12 months is telling, because here's the thing, your struggle, if you're doing something that you're generally good at, you've probably gotten there through some bad shit happening in your life, right? Yeah. I know people that are the best health insurance, the best life insurance providers that I know in the town that I live in. They cry when they tell me why they're in that industry. And it's because their grandpa died and left their grandma with nothing. And he never wanted to see that happen to somebody. And it's a real story. So when I realized that, man, people always ask, what makes you better than the competitor? Well, did the competitor almost lose their business? Did the competitor sleep on the floor of their office and go $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in debt and dig themselves out of that hole because of social media? No, because the competitor a lot of times are TV, newspaper, radio stations that are selling a knockoff version of what I offer. I'm better than them because I went through this shit that I don't want you to go through. So what Jason's talking about is don't go tell people if you're smoking a crack pipe on the weekend, because that's probably that's airing your dirty laundry. If you're cheating on your wife, you probably don't want to tie that into your story. You need to probably fix that and clean that up. But what Jason's talking about is he said he almost lost his home in 2015, right? I guarantee you a lot of you probably haven't been able to pay your bills, right? I guarantee you a lot of you probably almost missed payroll. Talk about that. Don't be afraid to share the hard truth, hard facts about you, because you're the person I want to do business with. And if I know you, like you, trust you, I'm going to do business with you over somebody that is, no, man, I made $1 million my first year in business, man. I'm always happy. You can't relate to people like that.
Right.
Man, I love it. Jason, listen, we have got, we're at the end of our time right now, but we're going to do more together. Jason and I were talking before we jumped on here. I want to do some event stuff with you. He's moving to Colorado, but that's all right. We got clients out that way anyways. I got family out that way.
He's like, I'm going to find a way to come and meet you, dog.
we need to do something too, man, because we do a lot of work with realtors. I do a lot of work with network marketers of multiple different brands. So we need to do a co-webinar. We're going to get you back on the show. We need to do some stuff together because I love your energy. This has probably been the fastest 30 minutes that I've done a podcast. And I think it's because we gel, and we obviously speak each other's language with what we're doing. We can help a lot of people. So if you're tuning into this if you're watching the behind the scenes on Jason's Instagram or my Facebook Live, you'll get the real version of this in a few weeks. If you're tuning in live, or if you're tuning in on iTunes, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, man, share this with somebody. Tag Jason in the comments and let him know what you learned from this, because he's given more tips than I think all my other guests have combined, specifically on Facebook Live, because he is the expert when it comes to Facebook Live.
Doing the do, baby. I'm doing the do.
It makes me a lot of money, man. It makes you a lot of money. So it can make everybody listening and watching a lot of money. Jason, where can people find you? Because they need to see your content.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm on Facebook, literally Jason Rash, R-A-S-H. I'm normally the very first person that comes up. Doesn't matter what country, part of the world I'm in, you type it in. I'm the dude with the red profile. You'll see me on there. Other than that, man, I'm looking to expand into LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram here in the next 60 to 90 days, 30, 60, 90 days. So we'll see how that goes. But Jason Rash, you can find me anywhere. Pretty accessible.
Jason. Man, I mean it when I say this. I'm honored to have you on the show. I consider you a friend. It's amazing how social media works, man. We meet at an event in Miami. We spend 3 days together. We learn a ton of knowledge, ton of information, and now we're building this relationship online, and we're going to do some cool stuff together, man. So tell your wife I say hello. We'll definitely be doing some stuff together, man. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Appreciate you being here.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Luke. I'll see you soon.
Is your business struggling right now? You might think that it's because you don't have enough sales. But the reality is it's because you don't have the attention of the marketplace. This is attention equals dollars. You deserve more. Your business deserves more. And I'm here to teach you everything that I know on how to get the attention that you need and to turn that attention into dollars.